Hello, it is me, the totally real hobo mice and not their fusion doppelganger. Welcome to my new mini-series called the Fusionfall Timeline, where we will be going over the major events in Fusionfall in chronological order. The timeline can be divided into 3 parts: the pre-war, the war before the player returns, and the war after the player's arrival. In today's episode we will be going over the second half of the war. As a quick recap, Buttercup is still missing, Fuse's army regenerates after being destroyed, the Grim Reaper is on vacation so now no one on Earth can die, and the citizens of Earth have a new method of fighting back, Nan knows. Now back to the plot. With the war at an effective stalemate, since the soldiers on both sides of the war can't die, Fuse realizes he needs more creative methods to win. So he begins poisoning the water supplies with fusion matter. He has moderate success in the southern city, but in the northern wilds he is able to infect entire lakes and rivers. Fuse's army also begins poisoning the food supply, starting with destroying food production. We see this with DD's herb garden getting trampled, and the mayor's pickle garden getting pilfered. Then Fuse's force begins stealing whatever foods they can get their hands on, with the intent to poison it, such as potatoes, pizza toppings, and even soda. Nothing is off limits. Now you might be wondering, why does it matter if Fuse poisons the food if no one can die? Unfortunately, anyone that eats infected food permanently becomes a fusion monster. We see this when Fusion Mojo Jojo gave infected bananas to other monkeys, turning them into spawn simians. While stealing candy from the candy pirates, Fuse discovers the existence of crazy brain candy. Magically cursed candy that drains the intelligence of anyone who eats it. Double D learns from Sticky Beard that he hid these dangerous candies all across the world, and sends the player to go retrieve them. Now it is a race between Fuse, the candy pirates, and the player on who can find and retrieve the crazy brain candy first. While hunting for the crazy brain candy, Fuse also steals from the candy pirates at every opportunity, and even attempts to steal their ship using Fusion number 2, and Fusion number 5. While Double D hunts for candy, Dexter is continuing his hunt for the missing heroes. After confirming with the Grim Reaper that Buttercup is not dead, he builds a device to locate her. Dexter finds Buttercup with the Gangrene Gang. It turns out after her battle with Mojo Jojo she woke up on the beach with amnesia. Ace finds her and decides to trick her into becoming a singer for their band, and tells Buttercup that her name is actually Belladonna. Belladonna is aware she has amnesia and requests the player to tell her family that she is okay. Eventually, after breaking into a recording studio to stop a fusion Belladonna, the real Belladonna sees a poster of the Powerpuff Girls, and regains her memories. After she regains her memories she is angry at Ace but decides to stick with the band. While the player assists Belladonna, the Canker sisters discover the Book of Prophecy. May Canker decides to use the book's knowledge to make a love potion for Ed to drink. Gwen Tennyson intervenes, and with the player's help, convinces May to hand over the book. With the book, Gwen learns about the ancient totems, and begins working to activate them. Using sap from the magic tree, Gwen is able to activate every totem, enabling the totem network. The totem network turns out to be able to pinpoint fusion doppelgangers that are attempting to hide. With the citizens of Earth now having a way to track fusions, Fuse calls for reinforcements, and orders the ectonurites to invade. Ben Tennyson, aware that Fuse commands the ectonurites, constructs a device to detect when an ectonurite enters our atmosphere. Side note: there is not a single ectonurite in the game. I do not understand why this mission chain is here, other than cool lore. Anyway, back to the plot. As the war progresses, Fuse begins taking more desperate measures such as sending down an entire planetoid to destroy the Earth. The planetoid was first spotted by Mojo Jojo, who saw that the asteroid was heading right towards Earth. A tracker was then set up to narrow down the planetoid's location and travel path, which showed it would crash land in nowhere. To try and destroy the planetoid before it collided with Earth, Dexter prepared the ion cannon, which was provided by Mandark, and had the player position it so that it could destroy Planetoid fusion when the time was right. Although the ion cannon has been set up, it starts getting attacked by fusion monsters. This leads to Dexter requesting the player's help again to protect the ion cannon so that Planetoid fusion can be destroyed. While defending the cannon from the monsters, the player is contacted by Mandark, whom claims Dexter has made miscalculations. In reality, Mandark removed the tracking software for the ion cannon, thus making it guaranteed to fail. Mandark requests the player's help in obtaining a surface-to-orbit military array from Vilgax, which Mandark integrates into his ballistic accelerator so that he can destroy the Planetoid. Mandark then has the player set up his device and prepare it so that it can destroy Planetoid fusion, and allow Mandark to embarrass Dexter. Then Vilgax contacts the player, and tells them that both Dexter and Mandark will fail to destroy Planetoid fusion if their machines are left as they are. Vilgax then takes it upon himself to fix the devices with the assistance of the player. Vilgax has the player install his telemetry recalibrator onto the ion cannon in Nowhere in order to make sure Dexter's ion cannon succeeds. In the following mission, Vilgax has the player return to the really twisted forest to install the array stabilizer in Mandark's ballistic accelerator to stabilize the surface-to-orbit missile. After the player does so, they are contacted by Courage and are asked to meet him in Nowhere quickly. In the following mission, the player meets Courage, where he informs them that he saw Fusion Juniper Lee heading into the lower catacombs. Once there, the player recovers a strange alien device known as a UFO magnet remote control from a grave worm, but Fusion Juniper Lee gets away. Although Courage and the player failed to find Fusion Juniper Lee, he remarks that they're close to doing so, which Courage admits is undercut by the impending impact of Planetoid fusion. Courage keeps the UFO remote, and tells the player that Dexter wants to see them, pondering what Fusion Juniper Lee wanted it for. As the time for destroying Planetoid fusion draws near, the player is enlisted by both Dexter and Mandark once again to protect the devices. Although both devices go off, both miss the Planetoid, and hit planet fusion instead, revealing that Vilgax sabotaged both Dexter and Mandark. The player is then contacted by Courage in Nowhere, who uses a UFO magnet in the area to completely crush the Planetoid, and successfully destroy it. After destroying the Planetoid, the player is told by Coco that giant chunks of the asteroid crash-landed in the really twisted forest. Vilgax demands the player give the pieces to him, but Courage encourages the player to give them to Coco instead. In the aftermath of the event, Vilgax reveals he sabotaged Dexter and Mandark because he wanted to study the technology within Planetoid fusion. Shortly after the Planetoid's destruction, tired of guerrilla tactics, Kevin decided it was time he took the war directly to Fuse's lair. With the help of the player, he was able to collect some samples of the local fusion spawns, and absorbed their fusion matter, hoping to match Fuse's strength. Unfortunately, Kevin's plan backfired, and Fuse gained control over him by means of the absorbed fusion matter. Under Fuse's control, Kevin tricked the player into attaching a device to Foster's home in order to transfer imaginary energy to Fuse's lair in the Darklands for study. Fortunately, Dexter was able to uncover the plot, and was able to slow down the transfer and free Kevin from Fuse's control. Dexter was unable to stop the transfer completely, however, because doing so would prove fatal to the imaginary friends. During Kevin's mind control, Fuse stole Kevin's car keys, and was able to make a fusion doppelganger of Kevin. Wanting to end the war, Fuse begins preparing to manifest on Earth. To prepare for Fuse's arrival, Fusion Kevin begins developing Fuse's lair with shield generators, fueled by fusion matter. Thanks to advice from Billy, Frankie redirects the imaginary energy to the first barrier, causing it to get overwhelmed and shut down, allowing the player to kill Fusion Kevin, but destroying the transmission device so the player can't receive imaginary power from Foster's anymore. Arriving at the second barrier, Billy offers his pet Runty to the player. Dexter realizes that Runty has been an imaginary friend the whole time, and tosses Runty into the shield control mechanism, overwhelming the shield with imaginary power again, but now at the cost of Runty's life. Arriving at the third and final barrier, Coco gives the player an empty egg capsule with the words, "Use your imagination." And for some reason, this overwhelms the final barrier, allowing Samurai Jack and the player to fight with the manifestation of Fuse. After a fierce battle, Fuse's manifestation is destroyed, and Fuse is significantly weakened. And that is where the story is left off, with the developers leaving room for future expansions. Thank you all for watching, and remember, praise be to Lord Fuse.